Gentlemen, myself Suyesh Mishra. I'm a mechanical engineer by profession, and I have cleared my SSB in my 12th attempt. That was also my 12th conference, and it took approximately 6 years to clear the process. And so I'll be telling you about my past experiences, how the SSBs went, how the journey went, which actually took 6 years. So starting from the very first attempt, I started giving SSBs from the NDA attempt. That was after my class 12th, and at that time I gave 3 SSBs to be precise, including NDA, TES, and Navy 10 plus 2 BTech. But unfortunately, I wasn't able to clear the process, and then ultimately I had to go for my engineering. Now I will tell why I chose engineering precisely. I chose engineering because I was interested in the mechanics part, so I went for mechanical engineering. Second reason was I studied a little bit, I researched a little bit on which of the career options will provide me more viable options to go ahead with the defense forces, and I came to know that engineering will provide me various entries like Afcat. In Afcat, it will be providing me with technical branches, and it will also be providing me entries like SSC Tech, TGC, etc. So coming to the part after my BTech, I started from entries like CDS as well as FCAT. Fortunately, I was able to crack these writtens in their very first attempts, and the sequence kept going on in a similar fashion. But unfortunately, I was not able to clear SSBs for either CDS or FCAT in the very first attempt. So when it was my last attempt for IMA via CDS, I was very curious to clear the process, as well as I didn't wanted to waste my IMA attempt, as I wasted my NDA as well as INA attempt before my BTech. So as a defense aspirant, you people also might be looking out for various sources to know about the process of SSB and how to go ahead with it so that you are able to clear it, right? So in a similar fashion, I was also looking out for viable sources, and while surfing YouTube one day, I came through videos of Colonel Yudhvir sir on the channel of Lakshya Academy. So there I found that this coaching will not be actually teaching me how to crack the SSB itself. It will be teaching me how to develop my personality so that I am actually able to crack the process myself, not by following certain guidelines or set of rules that how to proceed with the psychology test, how to proceed with the interview, or how to proceed with the GTO. So I went there. There were certain techniques, there were certain exercises we used to do so that our personality improves and grows day by day. One of the exercises was 5-point perception technique. In this technique, what we actually did was that whatever the situation might come, whether it be in the form of TAT or SRT or WAT, or in terms of real life situations as they come in interview or GTO, the main goal of 5-point perception technique was used to be like you have to understand the situation, you have to analyze it very well before taking the actions, and when you start taking the actions, your goals is supposed to be targeted on most viable and most number of solutions, because solutions are everything. Because when we have number of solutions, then we are able to tackle each and every kind of situation. But before tackling the situations, analysis of the situation, how it led to the situation, what is actually happening, is very important, and that helps you in the process of psychology as well as GTO and interview as well, and in real life as well. When you start implementing these things in your real life, then ultimately you will be able to implement these things as a natural part of your personality in those 5 days of the SSB2. Now another technique was brainstorming technique, in which we used to actually practice for WATs as well as for our lecturette. In this, what we used to do, we used to either pick up a topic or a word for WATs to be precisely. There we used to discuss each and every combination of sentences or ideas that can be possible for a particular word. So this way our horizons as well as our awareness also increased towards a particular word or an idea. Then another technique was regarding our lecturettes, which actually improved our confidence level. What we used to do was that we will be talking about, we used to talk about topics such as our hometown, our hobbies, armed forces personnel specifically. What this did was actually that it increased the confidence level, the people who actually had some problems with the confidence level. And the second thing that it did was it actually increased the information level, because whenever we used to study for our lecturate topics, the topics are something which we actually are supposed to know. It might be related to current affairs like Citizenship Amendment Act, etc., as well as your hometown, your district, etc. So these are the things actually which you're supposed to know in your interview, as well as a common person also you're supposed to know. So while preparing for a lecture, we used to come prepared for these topics, and our awareness was generally increased. So, but unfortunately, as it is said that each and every practice needs some time for inculcation in your daily life, and nothing happens for suddenly. Nothing happens instantly. So this thing was applicable to me as well as a human being, and when I went for my SSB after the coaching, I was not able to clear it. And I believe the reason was simple, that I started doing the right things. I had started improving my personality, but it takes some time. And for me precisely, it took further 4 to 5 attempts, as the IMA attempt where I went after the coaching was actually my 7th attempt, and when I have got recommended right now, it is my 12th attempt. So coming to the part that how I kept on my preparation after that SSB, I have a group of friends who are actually repeaters and defense aspirants like me, and they are also quite motivated and passionate towards the armed forces. So what we actually used to do, that we used to um, conduct group sessions on the call using conference call, and we used to implement similar techniques of group discussions, lecturettes, as well as analysis of TAT stories, psychology, etc. in a similar fashion, using the techniques like brainstorming, 5-point perception, etc. And ultimately, along the time of approximately 2 years approximately after the SSB I went for after my coaching, then ultimately I started feeling the change, and it took some time. Definitely it took some time, but ultimately I started feeling that yeah, now but my personality is actually molded for the SSBs, for the services selection boards, and ultimately it worked, and I got recommended in the 12th attempt. So what I would like to say is, I would like to say thank you to Colonel Udvir sir for providing me with the guidance which I always required. Yeah, definitely took some time, but the path was right, and when you know that the path is correct, then ultimately you can tread upon it, working along it, and ultimately one day you will get recommended to. All the best. Thank you.